Hello, my name is Bill Connor, and I'm running for Lieutenant Governor. You know, something that had a profound influence on me a number of years ago was when I read the book, Economics in One Lesson, by Henry Hazlitt. This was written in 1947, and it's so amazing to realize how prophetic he was at that time about economics. In so many ways, how the economics tied in to other issues like political freedom. But essentially, in many ways, it was a counter to what John Keynes had written back in the 1930s, his 1936 Great Theory. Really propounded the idea that we could just print money. That the way to come out of any kind of bad economics times was government spending and forcing people to do impulse buying. And all these things intuitively we all knew were wrong, and yet for some reason he was able to convince so many over the years that for some reason at the government level it was okay to do things we knew were wrong. Unfortunately, instead of going toward the classical or Austrian school of economics, which made the effort to counter the theories of John Keynes, many politicians in both parties decided to buy in to so many fallacies of the Keynesian economic model. In particular, once again, the idea that government could tax people and in some way, both through taxing, through spending, through printing out money, which devalues money, create jobs. What Henry Hazlitt so profoundly taught us was that whenever government creates jobs, we always lose jobs, and we lose jobs even worse than before. Because what happens is, government takes the money from you and then finds a project to put people to work. Unfortunately, because there's no competition within the government, those jobs are never in the right place. And what you never see is, you will see the 100 jobs that are suddenly created to build, say, a road. What you don't see is the 150 jobs that are lost in the private sector because business owners have got to let workers go to pay the taxes for the jobs that are shown through this ridiculous spending program. Now, we've done this, it took generations, because one of the things that John Keynes said when he was criticized about his economic plans and the problems they cause in the future is, he said this. He said, in the end, we're all dead. That was his idea. And that's what's really happened in our politics, is this idea that let's not worry about the next generation. Let's kick the can down the road. Let's continue deficit spending. Let's continue growing the government. Let's not worry about the effects that we know are coming. But quite frankly, there was a group that said this is wrong. And I might add, there were voices actually when both Democrats and Republicans bought into this. And I hate to say this because obviously I'm a Republican. But one of the things that really disturbs me is my own party that believed in small government, supposedly believes in classical economics, bought into the idea that you could just tax and spend, but particularly the spending, and just spend and not worry about the future. And now look where we are. We're devaluing our money. And this has got to stop. You know, it's really amazing to look at a man like Dr. Edwin Vieira and the things he's written about, because he's really talked about how the money ties into everything we do. It's not just about saving bucks. It's about principle. And it is about freedom. It's about constitutionalism. Because with money comes power. And the question we have as a people is, does the power reside with the people? Or have we given that up? Have we lost who and what we are? Because what made America great was the idea of individual freedom, which was tied directly to economic freedom. In fact, the words in our Declaration of Independence that state we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, and among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Pursuit of happiness meant property rights. It meant economic freedom. We believe so strongly in economic freedom that we put it in with life and liberty. It's that important because those all go together. And as Americans are now seeing with Barack Obama, which is taking the extremes of Keynesian economic fallacies and putting them into work, is that we are looking at a future of virtual slavery. where we don't have our freedom, where we've lost our Constitution. And it does tie to economics, and our founders understood that. You know, we should be listening to men like Dr. Edwin Vieira. You know, he speaks so soundly, with so much wisdom about our monetary system, that we must have a sound basis. And for the longest time, we were tied to a sound basis of currency. A lot of folks don't realize that up really until Roosevelt's time, you could actually trade using precious metals like gold, and that was outlawed. And then during Nixon's time, we were actually taking off the gold standard. And the problem is, if there's nothing backing up the money floating out there, then the money can eventually mean nothing, particularly if we borrow too much and creditors start asking to be paid back. At that point, we lose everything. And we can't kick the can anymore. We've done this enough. We've kicked our can into where we stand now, which is the current economic crisis. We can't kick it any farther. We have got to stand behind true classical Austrian school economics.